Bro, it is Vince Russo. And listen, bro, the Workers Club podcast, bro. It is Larry and Gus and Wilson doing all the work.
I'm waiting. Okay. I'm just gonna start. Workers Club 122. We're gonna be back. Oh, it's me, Wilson. It's Larry. It's Gus. We're gonna be back on Capital Revolution by Tim Hornbaker.
The fun's over.
It's back to school.
Numbers and names. Fall semester is starting.
Yes. It's back to school. We're learning. Dave Meltzer on the back says the best book on wrestling history I've ever read. And you can tell that Tim is of Dave. Their minds are melding where they just want those stats, those figures. I just want to know. Larry asked me, anything that kind of hit you when you were reading this last part, and I was like, yeah, there's some interesting stuff that goes down, but then Tim devotes one sentence to it and then just moves on.
He kind of skips over the Mahoney screw job.
Yeah.
He's like, it happened. Like he doesn't describe it.
Well, he's going to talk about some little chief match that happened in Houston, and he's got to talk about how many people were there, and then he's got to move on from that. Just he needs you to know that somebody thought it was a hell of a match.
Little Chief's a draw, dude.
I also feel like the business has died and risen again like 8 times.
Yes.
And it's 1933.
He'll be like, business was bad. 25,000 people went to Boston to watch. Wait, what happened? I noticed that too. Something that started kind of raising an eyebrow was he'll name a chapter something clear and then proceed to not really talk about that thing. But in the next chapter, he'll talk about it. But he'll name that something else.
I have book news. So a Gorilla Monsoon book just came out. Have you heard about this?
Have I heard it? Have I seen it? Yeah, I heard.
Does it have salacious gorilla stories in it?
Brian Solomon. No, but he debunked something, and I'm so sad because it's such a good story.
The Victor Cunha.
Yes. Apparently, if you just look at the birth dates, we're stupid because he would have been born when Gorilla was in college.
What's the thing that he debunked?
That Gorilla was Victor Quinones' father.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just love the thought of Gorilla having like a Puerto Rican bastard.
Apparently that was just started by guys who were jealous that Gorilla liked him and took him under his wing.
Why couldn't that have started for... Is JR2 similar in age to Bill Watts? Or that Okie boy is Bill Watts' son. Eric Watts is starting it. As far as our roundup of guys we've covered, really it's just Hogan in the news. Nick Hogan is suing Bubba, and you think, oh, he's suing him because he's been accused of murder. No, he's not. He's suing him because Bubba wants to release a documentary of sorts to finally put to rest the real story of the sex tape. So there you go. And Nick says you can't do that.
I love all this.
I was thinking the other day why I don't know if I was surprised necessarily, but I guess I wasn't really thinking too hard about Hulk Hogan's death. And he is of that kind of, I wouldn't say he's like Elvis level, but he's like all these pop culture figures when they pass, it's always kind of like things spring up and it's always kind of colorful after they pass.
Well, I was going to say it's like James Brown and Casey Kasem. Remember, they couldn't bury either one for like months because there was infighting between people.
Yeah. This is what's going on here. I know, and it's just gonna, those stories always just kind of get sadder. You hear about them or how they use the estate. There's gonna be some kind of goofy like Hulk Hogan trading card mobile app or something that the kids will have invested in.
They did it
his body's gonna get exhumed at some point.
They did it at the wrestling show. They used an AI version of his voice.
What wrestling?
Oh, at the Real American thing?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he did the intro for the guys.
They used AI?
Yeah, I heard it was AI.
You didn't go? It was right there. You didn't buy a ticket?
No. I would have taken a comp, but I wasn't in town.
Oh, man. So he was like the announcer? Like he was saying, coming down to the ring?
It was like a pre-package thing,
That's well, see, now we're in the clear for when we've done it. If Eric can do it, you think Nick signed off on that?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, who runs his?
Who's got control?
Sky?
It's got to be
Sky.
Sky.
It's not Linda.
You think? Man, I don't know.
Linda never moved on.
Eric. Sky.
Oh, you
Oh,
think
definitely. Yeah.
Eric's consoling her? It's horrible.
I'm
What's
not
happening.
saying that. I don't know what I think about it.
Invites her up to the ranch
Listen,
or
got the
whatever.
hot
it is.
tub.
Decompress. God, his voice is so
Mikasa's
craggy
Mikasa.
these days. It's Mikasa. I can't even
I
do
believe
his voice
Bischoff's
stuff.
quote from the Gold Club trial was, "It was all a bit of a blur after that."
Did you see the Mr. T's daughter invoked Hulk Hogan
Yeah, and Sudi
Doing-
believes it.
doing lines of cocaine, fighting Piper? Now, in his book, he kind of painted Mr. T as a ne'er-do-well. Did she not read the book?
Was it on this? Was it the Stern Show clip where the Hulk Hogan Mr. T blowjob story? Where did that come from?
Oh, I don't know that one.
What?
That one. I don't even think we
swear
talked about it
watched
during the
all
thing.
together.
No.
Or is it anything about Rodman?
No,
Rodman and we watched Rodman and Stern, and they're kind of like different stories.
Nothing comes up on Google. Now I've got a strange thing I just Googled.
Would you type in Mr. T blowjob?
Mr. T blowjob Hogan.
Well, geez, I would have Googled better. I would have just typed in Mr. T blowjob.
Where the hell? I don't. I apologize if I have created this.
This isn't
Bob
the show
Backlund
that we
smokes
wanted.
a ton of crack, and Mr. T got a blowjob.
From Hogan?
These are
Well,
just-
it was like there were a bunch of kids and like. it's like-
Oh, okay. I'm kind of remembering that the kids were waiting for it. He
Yes.
said something like he was out and about, like with groupies or something like that. And were we thinking like, oh, Mr. T wasn't doing that? Come on.
okay, maybe.
I have a file. Colin.
But
you'll
yeah,
have a memory
Hogan
of
did
that.
not smash up Roddy Piper. They were probably working T and laughing about it.
Just Mr. T watching two high on cocaine wrestlers, and he knows it's fake, and he's just watching them play act in front of him. He's like, my ribs still kind of hurt though.
And what was, come on, broke his ribs. What spot in that match? Show it to
Well,
me.
you know those stiff Roddy Piper punches that he would throw. He really got in there. Vince Russo.
If T took a bump in that match, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah. You don't think he went on his back? You think he was doing the
I
old
mean, he did the
carrying
airplane
cross?
spin,
Yeah.
but he did that to. So yeah, I'd have to watch it again. But yeah, I think she's getting worked by a worker. I mean, T was a worker as well.
He went home and was like, my ribs. Let's see. Vince Russo Did you know what he said about Hogan's death?
Okay, I found the T video.
Oh, you did?
I don't know if it's about Hogan, but it's about T getting a blowjob.
Yeah, play it. We present it.
How do I do that?
The little plus sign in the monitor at the bottom.
Share screen. Allow. Okay.
There it is. All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Classic.
So you go to the kids.
Right.
He comes in on a limousine, after all, big star.
Uh-huh.
Comes in a limousine, and the kids are so excited to see Mr. T. They have such a response to him
Yeah.
that they rush the limousine, and they grab the door, and they open it, and Mr. T was in the limousine getting oral sex.
Oh, we did watch this where he gets mad.
Yeah.
Howard, that's false.
It is false?
Come on,
Someone
Howard.
told me that.
Come on, Howard.
I mean, I'd be proud of that.
No, it's a lie.
Really?
And I wish I see that guy. I'll slap the out.
Really?
I will.
He told me.
I will.
Really?
I will. That's right. You're right the first time you heard me curse.
Wow.
You know, that I don't play. I will find that
It
guy
wasn't a
and not
kick.
only slap the out of him,
Really?
and kick him in his ass.
All right, but anything. Wait a minute.
And Howard,
I'm going to give you that guy's name.
You should apologize to me. You know me better than that.
You pissing me?
No, I'm not pissed at you, Howard. I forgive you.
I don't think
Okay?
that's such a bad story.
No, it's a bad story, Howard.
It wasn't like you were doing
Howard, it's a bad story.
Really?
He
Let
doesn't
it go.
like the story.
Let it go.
You telling me you
Let
don't
it
have
go,
sex with
Howard.
women?
Howard, let it go.
No, forget that.
Howard, let it go.
I'm asking you.
Let's talk about the little kids I deal with that I try to give hope to at Sinai Hospital.
Mr.
That's
T.
what Mr. T is about.
But Mr. T.
To the women and children, the T stand for tender. To the bad guys, power stand for tough.
I don't know why I thought Hogan was involved with that, but
Oh.
Well,
Guess I'm not told.
did Howard say who told him that? Maybe it was Hogan that told him that.
What's the deal with Mr. T?
No, he's
What do
sweaty
you mean?
there. He was sweaty.
He just doesn't seem like a real human being.
He's as real as
he
you
was a
get.
bouncer on Rush Street in Chicago.
He's always on like that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw his Hall of Fame speech. Yeah, I think he's just was a goofy guy. Is he still with us?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I think he
I
is.
think he might.
I don't think he's passed on.
Mr. T is.
You think they would have asked him?
As long
about-
as it says "is," he's still alive, and Mr.
Yeah.
T is.
He hasn't been asked
Yep.
about Hogan. Can we get him on record? Vince
What
Russo.
about Russo? Yeah.
He says, "Now, bro, there's a lot of kabuki-ish things going on."
Kabuki-ish.
Yeah. There was no autopsy filed. The coroner was the one that listed the cause of death. That's not normal. And he thanks Bubba and Brooke for, getting in there, calling the Clearwater police, saying we need an autopsy. We need to figure this out. So there you go. But he commented on the funeral. He says, because now, okay, basically what Vince Russo show is, there's degrees to this. There's Bubba, then there's Vince Russo talking about what Bubba talked about, and now there's us talking about what Vince Russo said about Bubba. He goes, I'm going to hit you with something now that Bubba told us today that I didn't even know. Brooke Hogan did not go to the funeral because the Hulk did not want a funeral. He did not want that. Hulk wanted to be cremated, wanted his ashes to be scattered. That makes sense, right, bro? Do you know there wasn't a body in that casket? It was empty. What's the point of that? There you go.
It's for the living.
Well, he says, for the guy to say, I don't want to be buried, and then you go with the whole coffin?
Dots.
Come on, that happens all the time.
Vince Russo's like, they carried it. There's no body. Why are you carrying it?
Does he think like Arlington National Cemetery is like, what's the point?
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite lines from Castaway when Tom Hanks comes back and Helen Hunt's like, we had a funeral for you and everything.
Yeah.
He was like, "What was in the casket?"
I love that movie. Now, the coach and Vince Russo, they've commented on The Rock's recent appearance at the film festival. I personally... So you were... Okay, so who here thinks he looks like he
from
lost
South
weight?
Park. You know, he's got those big giant teeth.
Yeah.
And that's what The Rock looks like now.
I don't think he... I think he's got
to resize those things for his new body.
See, I just think he was wearing a baggy shirt and it upset everybody. He never wears a baggy shirt, and so then people are like, it was an optical illusion. Usually he wears a shirt that's painted on.
Because
but
his
maybe...
head's huge looking now.
Yeah, he's got
so
the
out
Barry
of
Bonds
proportion.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Here's Vince goes.
The Rock absolutely could not fit into his University of Miami helmet. No way.
It's just sitting on top of his head. This is how easily we could maybe sway Vince. I think we could definitely do some kind of psyops on Vince, because this is what he said about The Rock's appearance. A fan wrote to me, and I didn't even think about this, but I had to when I saw the weight gain this quickly. Somebody asked the question, is Rock sick? God forbid, bro.
Have you seen his hands? They're bruising, bro.
And then also he read, and see if you agree with Vince. Coach, I have to point this out too, because it's very interesting. Okay, you let me know. He read an article about Sharon Osbourne, and in Hollywood, they're all on that Ozempic. And maybe that's what The Rock did.
Oh my God.
And maybe he just lost too much too fast. What do you think? Is The Rock on Ozempic? That's Vince Russo. His show on Sportskeeda. How do we get that? Sportskeeda. Pay us money. We will have more interesting discourse than is The Rock on Ozempic.
I think he got on the Ozempic.
Is The Rock dying? I mean, I'll say that. I'll say anything. Give me a little bit of money. Rent's due, right?
Hey, think about it. Sudden weight loss.
Sudden weight loss. Uh-oh. I've seen Philadelphia.
Sopranos.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
That's the line in Sopranos. Just think about it, Tones. Sudden weight loss.
That's right. Yeah. Can we get a picture of The Rock holding out his pants in the mall for the running around? They brought that up. Maybe he's losing all this weight for serious roles. They don't think he should be losing that much. They start throwing around 60 pounds. They come to that number. 60 pounds. I don't know. All I know is that I'm excited to see that movie. I saw him wiping away his tears. He got his validation.
60 pounds of muscle is insane.
I know. How did Coach or Vince come up with that number? They keep. I know that Coach keeps looking at a picture of The Rock from, I don't know, last year's
Rock's
Clash.
tall. I'm gonna guess he's what, 230 in that picture, 220.
Maybe Hogan's death scared him off the steroids.
That means he was 280 or 290. That's pretty wacky.
That'd be
Saw it happen
something.
to Hulk and was like, I gotta cycle off.
That'd be something. Maybe Rock or the Hogan sent Rock like an SOS from the hospital.
Hey man,
they're trying to kill me, bro.
I just saw Chick Donovan on Twitter, who's 79 and just still jacked to the
Still
gills.
roided to shit. Good for him.
Tommy Dreamer posted it.
Oh my God.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Still
This guy,
showing up in like VFWs for like $50.
In some of these pictures, he looks like that guy from OVW. Remember the rocker guy?
Yeah.
He's kind of got the same thing going. Yeah, I mean, the rocker guy's not that ripped, but he's got the same hair, which is concerning because this guy's 77.
That's not turkey either. That's just natural Donovan.
Why does it? Russo, what is the deal with the scarf on the microphone? What is that? Like a Grateful Dead thing? Or...
No, it's Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
Yeah. The amount of
that's a cool guy.
the amount of tchotchkes that he has surrounding him, like the bobbleheads, and we talked about it.
That shit's all getting thrown out as soon as he dies. No one's.
You don't think the kids will
We
separate?
got to go
it
to
out?
the Goodwill when that happens.
The estate sale? Holy shit. Okay, this is what I want, guys. I know exactly what I want. I want that framed picture of Forgiven that he has behind me, the cover. That's all I want. That's it. Maybe, wait, let me look a little bit more. Maybe one of his dog things, too. And any Dogman memorabilia he might have. Okay, so 3 things. I'm like the jerk now. 3 things. The Unforgiven picture, anything related to the Dogman, and anything related to his dogs that he loves.
I'll take any Will Clark memorabilia.
There you go. Oh, okay, 4 things. And the scarf off the microphone. That's all I want.
What a lazy bastard. Putting in no work on that cameo.
No, and he's telling us that, come on now. We know
Danhausen was the previous low for me as far as ones I've gotten, but that was the lowest. Barry Horowitz was higher.
You got one from Barry Horowitz?
Yep.
Where did he film it? Like in his kitchen or something?
What did he call it? He said like Castle Horowitz or something like that.
Castle Horowitz.
He kept calling himself Mr. Technical, which I don't recall being his nickname.
Barry, you can't do that. You can't throw out something that you wanted to be called or...
Yeah.
I just remember liking his handprint on the back of his jacket where he bats himself on the back. That was inventive to me as a kid.
I got behind him after he got that upset victory over Skip.
Man.
All right. Well, I gotta say, our addictions are that skeleton key which opens the lock to the closet door of all our costumes.
Oh, that's a Halloween right around the corner. Skeleton key. It's so funny the line he draws from one thing where you're like, I see where he went. Yeah, skeleton key costumes. Got it.
I must leave all that is hallowed to find those who are shallowed.
That one doesn't, because that's just like similar words.
Well, when someone or something is trying to upset you, don't open that package. Just mark it return to sender.
I knew that's where that was going immediately. He said, don't open that package, return to sender. Man. Some of these are like, you can tell you just popping them off real quick.
I've been nostalgic for going to a meeting lately. I should go to one, see if he's there.
Do you think he would remember any of these if you said them to him?
Oh my god, yeah.
Like if you worked him into the conversation, you think he'd be like, wait a minute.
Because again, didn't you suggest that these are definitely on the walls of his gym?
But do you think, like, I'm thinking of, like, hey, the return to sender. I bet you could work that in talking with him, be like, it's like my dad said. And just drop it in. And see if he's like, your dad?
Yeah.
Does your dad follow me on Facebook?
Return to sender.
Is there anything? Oh man, I'm trying to. I'm like, yeah, give me another one. I'm always ready. I could do a whole.
Gotta
hour
find the people that are shallowed. You just want a whole other quote. Okay, all right. Let me grab a few more. He's so good.
What am I doing? I'm playing with poker chips. Okay.
Yeah, that's stupid. Okay, that's a really good one. And that one's good. Okay. I told you Monkey is like his it's what he keeps coming back to, is that we have monkeys in our head.
What?
So, I told you that's like his theme. He He always uses it as an analogy in his groups, and several of these are about that.
Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to remind you.
Okay.
If you really look at it, we are all combat veterans because we have all been at war with our own monkey minds for years.
Guys, I'm a combat veteran.
Yeah. With your monkey mind.
You're welcome for my service.
He was watching like War of the Apes. What is it, Planet? Yeah, the War, and he's like, "God damn!"
All right, and this one is a monkey one too. it's
Hold on. No, perfect. Go. Okay, ready.
If I hear about the monkey, then he might exist. If I see the monkey island, then where he lives exists. If I actually see the monkey, then he does exist. But when I see that the monkey lives in me, then I begin to exist.
Whoa! What the? These ones are like they're like. I think he needs to talk to somebody about the monkey stuff.
It could be in like an alternative literature like newslet. Like that could be
You think you just saw like a Simpsons episode where there's like a monkey in Homer's brain and they zoom in on Homer's brain and he's just like, that's perfect analogy.
I don't know.
If you see the monkey, I thought this was going to like see no monkey, hear no monkey. That's where I thought that was going to go. Say no monkey, something like that.
But I thought
like
the monkeys were bad.
In that, well, yeah, see no evil, yeah. If you see the monkey,
Or maybe he begins to exist just because recognizing that the monkey is himself. That's why he begins to exist. Because now he's aware he's taken the red pill.
I'm thinking about another movie that came out recently, Bad Monkey, where the evil little tambourine monkey was killing people. I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna shoot him I'm gonna use the see monkey, hear monkey. If you hear the monkey, if you say, if the monkey says, I don't know. I'll work on it. All right. Where we left off was in the chapter Clash of the Syndicates, which is really more about the decline in popularity more than the syndicates clashing. But there you go. Let's see. We left off where Tim wanted to talk about Jess McMahon and Dr. Carlos Henriquez, and that they work together, and he kind of just starts by, this is the thing, I don't know if Henriquez ever comes back, but if you read this book, you'll know all about his relationship with Jess McMahon. And eventually that working relationship comes to a close, and Jess McMahon is kind of just sticking around various, he has a shot at promoting boxing events at Ebbets Field. Boxing isn't drawing as much over there, so he's not doing that. He's hopping around. He's over at Sokol Hall. He's at the bottom of the wrestling world, though. He's just kind of grinding it out. And even though he said the early 30s, I do believe, were a down period for wrestling. I can't quite recall, but it says the Trust. Remember the Trust with Curly and who was it? Mondt and Bowser, right? Was that the Trust? I can't remember. It's been a minute. They were so confident that wrestling was going into a golden age that they were predicting $4 million gates between 33 and 34. Let's see. The crowd's just not happy with anybody they're picking for champion. To the point that Curly is bringing out Londos at the end of a show to be like, what about this guy? You like him, don't you? Bowser's over in
Browning
Boston.
sucked. Browning was the guy they went with after Lewis, and he sucks.
Yes. They got yes, and they tried to do Ray Steele. Yeah, and they cheer for Ray Steele, and they're booing Browning. And Bowser over in Boston, he's doing his. Okay, so there's the athletic commissions, and then all these guys are running these associations, which then they're using which are also made up of. What would you call it? Are they made up of commissioners as well, or like guys, promoters? And that they will go, well, this association recognizes this guy as the champion. So there's the National Wrestling Association. Bowser's doing the American Wrestling Association. And I think there's another one floating around that comes up later. But Tom Hanks
Not
or
the same AWA.
No, and nor is it the same NWA. These are all just the Tom Paxton over St. Louis. He's packing them in. He's doing Londos and Gus Sonnenberg, right? He's getting 15,666 to St. Louis.
Main event anywhere in the country.
Lou Darrow's out in Los Angeles, building up challengers for Londos, including 300-pounder Man Mountain Dean. Tim talks about the weigh-in for his match against Browning. Londos was 195. Browning is 38 pounds heavier. The New York State Athletic Commission says that this is a unification bout, and they can advertise it as a contest, as a championship affair. They do not have to call this a wrestling exhibition. That'll get them in the doors. It's legitimate, folks.
Yeah, this one's real.
This one is for all the marbles. I did enjoy this. Londos does this finish, which I to this day like this type of finish. Londo turned the ties, slamming his rival 8 times. Londo, please give me all over me. Londos.
Lando?
What's the one? I think about Lando when I see Londos, and I also think his little robot assistant in Star Wars, his name is like Lobos or something.
I always think of John Tolos, the coach.
Well, none of us are thinking about actual Jim Londos. We're imagining. Londos turned the tide, slamming his rival 8 times in succession before achieving the pinfall. I like that. He's spamming that finisher.
Yeah, that is Mondt.
Next time someone complains about an Osprey match, I'm going to be like, were you complaining about fucking Londo slamming someone 8
slams
times
in a row? Can you imagine somebody in that what year was this? They were probably pulling their fucking hair out, be like,
Strangler Lewis came out of retirement when he saw it. I got to take the title back.
1934, he's slamming this guy 8 times in a row. Yeah, people were probably doing cartwheels in the aisles, being like, I can't believe this shit. What the fuck?
And that's why he's the greatest draw of all time, man.
The result received approval and applause, but Curly's disappointed about the attendance. He was he wanted to double that 20,000 that were there, and he wanted 75,000 instead. Nope, 40,000. And again, I thought this was about the. He said in the beginning that in the early 30s, wrestling wasn't very popular. So Londos is recognized in more than 20 states now that he beat Browning. He's popular in the Midwest, the West Coast, the East.
Well, hang on, because we're in the Depression.
Yes.
Yeah. And
he
it
also
again
talked
takes
about
me to The Sopranos when Silvio says there are 2 things that are recession-proof: certain aspects of entertainment and the mafia.
Yeah.
I guess wrestling falls under the certain aspects of entertainment.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
because he also said in in a prior chapter that the Great Depression did not affect it. The wrestling was still popular.
And to which I'd say Bill Watts just sucked as a booker, and it wasn't the fucking oil crash
Oil.
of 1987 that we all know about.
Tell you it was that oil crash.
It's truly
Everybody
the guy
in
on top.
Louisiana lost their job overnight.
Who do you got on top? That's what it is.
Yeah, remember it was fucking Bill Irwin. That's who JR
know.
said was on the great roster.
Yeah. We
I put
quibbled
him
with
up
that.
against any of our guys.
Ugh.
Bill Irwin.
Look, that was in the news. JR re-signed. He signed another year deal with AEW, and he also thinks Chris Jericho shouldn't leave. I think he should. I think he should.
Tony should bargain him way up,
Yeah, why not?
and then walk away.
Let's see. So he's popular. He's got his rematch. It's finally we got the Londos Ed Strangler Lewis match. September 20th, 1934. 35,000 at Wrigley Field. And this is where he goes at the Los Angeles version of Wrigley Field. 35,000 new gate record for the country. 96,302. Man Mountain Dean. Wait, sorry, that was in Chicago. I'm sorry. It's in Wrigley Field, Los Angeles. The Man Mountain Dean challenges Londos. 23,000. Then he writes, Darrow tried to be slick and said it was 38,000 because he wanted to outdraw the Chicago Strangler Lewis match. So there you go. That's happening even in the early 30s. And the promoter is lying to just for the record of it.
Herb Meltzer was there counting.
Wait just a minute here. Let's see. He's feuding. Londos is feuding with Everett Marshall, who's got Billy Sandow. He's still around. He's the manager. 3 hours, by the way. February 34 in Philadelphia. It takes Londos 3 hours to beat Everett Marshall. And that I just wrote no. I would no. Who's sitting for that? 3 hours? Ooh, Marshall was cheered at Madison Square Garden. Londos is hissed.
Double turn.
Let's see. So now, though, the brain, Paul Bowser of the Trust, they're plotting, they're planning. They're thinking, maybe it's time to move on from Londos. Okay?
3 hours, yeah. I mean, you can't piss or anything if you're wrestling.
I mean, you'd go to.
What if the fall happens, like when you go to get a beer? Like,
you'd be so fucking pissed. Are you even allowed? Is this prohibition? Are they even allowed beer? What do they drink? What are they doing? Are they eating popcorn? What are they doing?
That's even weirder.
Let's see.
You're getting a soda.
I'm actually typing prohibition. Well, that's got a little. At that time, it's probably got a little something in there for you. No, 33. Okay, so maybe. Whew,
Okay.
they might have been able to have.
You can enjoy a beverage at your Londos.
A highball.
3.
Eyeballs and high post.
I mean, if you left, you came back, and they'd still just be doing the thing that they do. They're exchanging hammer locks. Like, how much? 3 hours of exchanging hammer locks. That's crazy. And he's saying they knew it was fake. They're suspending their disbelief. I can't do that. I can't suspend my like that. Oh man, these guys are really just exchanging holds.
There's like body scissors for like a half hour.
Oh,
They would do that spot where like they've got their like head squeezed between the legs. Yeah,
And they keep trying to get out.
Yeah. That's a good third of the match right there. And then they do like that little twist thing.
It really isn't shocking that as the book goes on, that these short comedy matches start gaining more and more traction. Like finally,
Wolf
something
Cabana would have been a
interesting.
huge draw in the 30s.
Ugh. So, they are looking at Bowser's going, wait a minute, we got Londos and we got Ed Don George.
Hell yeah.
We got two different heavyweight champions. We need an undisputed champion, right?
They would
Recognize-
probably burn down the arenas if a Hogan was transfixed from 1987 and, you know, clothesline big booted at Don George in 48 seconds.
Oh yeah, didn't we read that one match went short and they were like, "What the fuck?"
Big boot, leg drop.
That's
40
just not
seconds.
believable. They need the 3 hours for it to be believable. That's what it is.
Oh my god, I would love just to watch that scenario play out. That would.
Trust and okay, so they want to get together. The Trust wants to get together, and they need to find a guy that can be popular across the country. That all the promoters agree is the champion, and you push him as the champion, and you make money with the guy, and he can go all over. And they land on Bowser. By the way, Bowser, it sells this guy. Bowser's the Boston guy. He wants Daniel Aloysius O'Mahoney.
That is a fucking awesome name.
Also known as Danno O'Mahoney. Or just Danno, I guess. Oh, Danno because of the O'Mahoney. Danno. So. Tim describes him as a flashy young man from Ireland, tall and quick. And he's pushed hard immediately. And his finisher is an Irish whip. And Tim writes, it was impressive. And it's like, okay, do we have to go? Like, how do you know? Just because the newspaper says that? How does the Irish whip a finisher? I don't know my wrestling history. How is it?
Like, kind of pulls you around a little bit.
Oh, he's just
like
whipping you around. Okay.
Yeah.
If you typed into
like a
YouTube Danno O'Mahoney,
I see you know your judo well.
he's 22, and he's going to face Londos and Don George, and they're going to unify the titles.
Oh. Okay. And then it turns into like an arm drag takeover.
Yeah.
Wow.
He'd be crying right now if he saw what an Irish whip is. It's just a transition. His finisher never had a shot.
You know what Cornette takes beef with, and now that he says it, I can't not see it, is when someone's doing an Irish whip nowadays and they don't push off.
Like push on the guy's back?
Yeah, it's to at least make it look like you're giving them some force. Rather, they just
like
do
I
it
see that all
one-handed.
the time. I don't know.
No,
Maybe
they
I'm
just do it
crazy.
one-handed nowadays.
Huh. I feel like I see it the other way. I feel like I'm always seeing people do that. I was like, they don't do it? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for it now. You know who probably does it? Moxley, because he knows the fundamentals. He knows what he's doing in there.
Oh, I'll have to look.
Moxley right now, I just got to say, that guy is like entering into his prime. He's just crushing it. Okay. So the plan is set. We're going to get O'Mahoney over Londos, right? And he will be the top heavyweight, the guy. But Tim, that's a little foreshadowing. Except that there's going to be somebody that gets in the way of all of that. And now we move on to Chapter 5, One Too Many Champions. Which is more about clashing syndicates and different things like that.
And we're in the shitter again.
Well, so if you remember, he's back. Yeah, Jim Browning is champion. Things stink. Jack Pfeffer went to the commission, was like, it's all fake because he's all pissed off. So nobody's going to the shows. He's saying now in 34, business is horrendous. And he does add, I think, thinking back to what he just wrote. Well, outside of the occasional big draw at Madison Square Garden. Mostly about like 3,000 people are like going to Madison Square Garden for wrestling.
That's sad.
Joe Toots Mondt saw the writing on the wall, and instead of helping Jack Curley, he just left. And Tim says it's because he loved the almighty dollar. And he also he's always losing his own money, old Toots, because he's always going over to Belmont Park or the Aqueduct Racetrack in Queens, baby. He liked to gamble, this Toots.
You ever bet on the ponies?
I did just recently, in that I was in Vegas and I was playing a game invented, and there's only one machine left in Las Vegas. It's the Sigma Derby. And what that is a machine made, I think it was like in 1972 or something like that. And they've got the mechanical horses on a track. And then you bet which two horses of the five are going to come to the finish line first. And it lights up the odds on the number 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, all the combinations. You put in a quarter bet for each one you want to do. And you punch in your buttons. Gives you 20 seconds. Then you watch them race around the track once. Right?
So no, that's the answer.
Yes, that's betting on ponies. I was betting on the ponies for hours on end. I was up 200 quarters at one point. The 200 to 1 odds came in. No, I've never. I mean, what? Maybe once my brother and I did like at a Kentucky Derby when we went down to the Exarban. Oh, dox myself again. And I think maybe once. Outside of that, no Bukowski levels, like living at the racetrack.
I was going to say, Bukowski doesn't. I always forget that he was a track guy. My
loves
AA
it.
sponsor, he was 86. He had that fucking newspaper every single day, checking them odds, making phone calls.
I did work one day with somebody and went to the OTB.
Yeah. I mean, I can see after having my dust up with the Sigma Derby, I can see the allure. Especially, I got in the habit of doing 5-quarter bets, all on just one, on any combination with one horse specifically in it. And telling my wife that, well, I'll either make some money or lose a little bit of money, wasn't really doing her any great shakes. Nor when I would just slap all the buttons and go, I'm betting all 10 quarters. Here we go.
All right, get past Toots being a character.
Toots into gambling, and so is Curly. Curly says that he'd rather go to a race than a wrestling or boxing event. They love watching those horses. They're slapping their knee with the program, the odds. They're rushing up to the booth, They're saying things like "Hearts Forever to finish" or whatever the horse's name would be. It was man. We're really on The Sopranos now. I'm thinking it was a fucking horse. He's over to now. He goes into on page 73, and he's like, "By the way, let's get into Toots." Toots was born in Iowa in 1894, and it was like, this should have been in the beginning of the book. This should be chronological, Tim. You should be building out each character and then having them come together, and then you have all that background and coloring there. Not all of a sudden, and during the second page of chapter 5, you're like, who is Toots? Okay, well, he grew up in Weld County, Colorado, near Greeley. a bull-headed athlete willing to grapple and fight in the schoolyard. So he's conning people, and he's a rebellious soul. In his heart, this is okay. Wait, I want to know where Tim is getting this. This is what I want. I want him to give me examples of why he says, in his heart, he was a rebellious soul and often went against the grain. Okay, I'd like to hear more, but he just says, he likes gambling, and nobody likes him around the cash box because he's going to dip his little fingers in there and go, "I need some money." But he's got the mind for booking, right? So people kind of put up with him. And he goes to Los Angeles to help the Darrow brothers. And he finds a new guy to get behind, Ventura Benny Ternario, a Navajo who hailed from Trinidad. Played football at Haskell Institute.
That's Trinidad, not Tobago.
Let's see. But he's also a fellow Coloradoan. Is that how it is? It's not Coloradoan? It's Coloradoan?
He's got one later, a Utahn or something like that he writes for a Utah native.
Interesting.
Utonian?
Udite. No? Okay.
Udi.
So nobody's going to the garden shows. And on January 20th, 1935, the New York Post, Pat Rosa, wonders maybe it was Toots that was the magic hand that Curly needed.
You're goddamn right.
So, Danno...
Magic hand Mondt.
Yes. Danno is on the rise. I wrote LOL next to this. Irish enthusiasts were splendidly supportive of their countryman. Irish enthusiasts. Just call them Irish. It's okay. Irish enthusiasts.
Folks of Irish extraction.
Yes, were thrilled with the ascent of Danno. But then he says the groundswell of enthusiasm wasn't limited to any specific group, which we later find out again with Tim's writing that that's kind of not true, because it turns out Danno can't draw anywhere but Boston. Look, a New York Sun sports writer said Danno was the most refreshing grappler in wrestling in many a day. He's got
he probably just had a crazy accent.
We're going to talk about it. We're here at the end of the page here. We'll put a pin in that because I sent you guys pictures because I saw one picture and I was like, I need all the pictures of Danno.
And why hasn't Mark Wahlberg played him in a movie yet?
Dude.
Maybe we gotta get the production company going on that. Danno O'Mahoney.
Londos is out there saying, I'm going to be the champion for the next 10 years. And no. So, June 27th, against Londos, Mahoney, Boston, 25,000 adoring Irish enthusiasts. O'Mahoney scored the dramatic pinfall. There you go. And then a month later, he topples Ed Don George, right? He gets that title, too. And he's the first undisputed champion in years. And I wrote, Danno walked so future Irish stars like Hulk Hogan could run.
Yep.
But here's the problem. Danno can't draw. If he's in Yankee Stadium, he's getting 12,000. Now look, if he goes to Boston, he's getting double, triple. He's just killing it with the Irish enthusiasts. Anywhere else, not so much. And then in December of 1935, Harry Grayson writes that he does not look the part of a champion, and he's losing his appeal with each appearance. And that's why I want to talk. This guy looks like an insane, rabid Conan O'Brien. He's insane. Danno O'Mahoney looks insane. I'll look at his pictures again real quick just so I have them fresh in my mind. Danno O'Mahoney. It's tough to put into words. He looks... the hair, the spiked... the face... He just doesn't look right. Looks like he just learned... In that one picture, he looked like he just learned how to smile.
He kind of looks like John Bernthal.
Yes. It's some kind of crazed Irish John Bernthal, or like a Conan O'Brien, or a Mark Wahlberg. Sure, he's just got... let's see here. Let me look at him again. Oh, now I've lost it. Now it won't show me. Okay. Yeah, the crown thing. Then they make everybody in New York do the crown. Have you noticed that in these old pictures we kind of have been looking at? That everybody's got to do the picture with the crown. Like, I'm the king of New York.
Where is that one at?
I sent Danno O'Mahoney here. It's
Oh, you sent it to us?
Yeah, here. Danno O'Mahoney. Let me reply to it. It's up. It's underneath Man Mountain Dean and above Benny Yanger.
Oh.
4 pictures of Danno there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he does have the crown. Yeah, I don't know.
And there's the one there where you learn how he just does smile. John Bernthal. Sure.
Using the fucking telephone.
Yeah. What is he listening to on that, man? That smile. Oof. Yeah. Do yourself a favor. Google Danno O'Mahoney and just be like, wow, they really wanted this guy. Paul Bowser spearheaded this guy being the first unified champion in quite a long time. And then immediately people are like, this guy? We sure?
Ben Balor.
Somebody in a paper wrote that Mahoney represented in the crudest pattern the fraud of wrestling. Sometimes people crowd started booing him on occasion.
You suck.
They didn't like that he was so young. They didn't like that he wasn't as good as other guys. The fans just did not take to this title reign here. And then Tim is a stand for Danno. Tim was like, look, he's probably just traveling a lot, and he's getting tired from all the travel. I was like, Tim, why are you defending? You don't know this guy. Who cares? The fans didn't like him. Too much was being asked of him, Tim thinks. This is it. This is, we were talking about short matches versus long matches back then. October 28th, 1935, at the Garden, Danno knocks out with a punch Ed Don George in just over 5 minutes, and the crowd was angry and confused. Hold on. When I bought this ticket, I was under the impression that there would be 3 hours of grappling. What the fuck is this shit?
You give me 5 minutes?
If I could do a rant.
Yeah.
Go.
You know how healthy it would be for match reactions if they would do like once a year fucking 8-minute main event?
Oh,
Yes. I'm a big...
Like just a fucking sprint. You know what I mean?
Gus and I have talked about this, that there should be more sudden finishes, or some guy just drops somebody with a finish, especially if you're trying to build up a finisher and all that. But no, all the matches now on both promotions have to go 2 ad breaks. AEW, once or twice early on did a match ending during the ad break.
And Moxley Punk.
And then they did the Mox, they had Mox finish him, which I don't want to shit on Phil or anything. I would never do that. But Mox had to explain how this would work to Punk. Yeah, no, they've done it. They're just one of my big bugaboos with AEW is that they always seem to be scared to actually do things differently and actually change things up that would actually spark some interest in getting people to watch and tune in. And they kind of seem to fall out. It's the safety of it, just like, well, everybody knows what this is, and then they won't, I don't know. They should do it.
20 minutes the roll up.
Yeah, go the other way. Bring this back. The whole show is one match, and it ends with one guy getting thrown out of the ring and a count out. Do that. And then Jim Cornette would be like, it's the greatest goddamn thing I ever saw in my life. It was just like that Strangler Lewis match that I've heard of. Now now they're thinking, well, now we got to replace O'Mahoney. They think maybe it's gonna be one of the Dusick brothers. Okay, cool.
Hell yeah.
Somebody even writes, well, the Dusicks can really can wrestle. O'Mahoney can. But Paul Bowser is like, look, I've got a guy, Yvonne Robert.
Yvonne Robert.
No, Yvonne. I know how to. It's YVON. Yvonne.
Okay.
Robert. Look, this guy's
There's a
getting
French,
Yvonne Robert.
I think a French Canadian.
Where the mountains.
Here, look at this. In Pittsburgh, these guys went at it. They brawled outside the ring and were counted out after 45 minutes.
That's not bad.
Which this was a little bit of a... Yeah, they didn't want either guy to lose. They're trying to set up a rematch. But, that was unusual at the time. People were kind of like, okay, no winner, 45 minutes. Okay, they somehow both got counted out. Okay. So, O'Mahoney's in Texas. This is a few weeks after the double count out. And people believe, because Rudy Dusek was might have been involved because, he wanted the title and it wasn't going to him.
Get my fingers in that pie.
O'Mahoney was in the ring with Daniel Boone Savage.
Daniel Boone Savage.
Yes. Leo Savage's nickname was Daniel Boone. Okay. So
like the famous frontiersman?
Yeah. You have the name Leo Savage, and then you're like, I need a nickname. It's a whole other guy is my nickname. 22 minutes go by. O'Mahoney throws Savage over the top rope. And the fight is stopped because the challenger was injured. And what is this? So, okay. Everybody's like, okay, fine, whatever, weird. And I guess that what is the thinking here is that O'Mahoney threw him out of the top rope or over the top rope because he was being too stiff with him or something like that. He was just trying to get out of there. Either way, Mahoney leaves Texas. He was supposed to fight Juan Humberto, but he just left. And word is because they thought old Humberto was going to double cross him, and O'Mahoney, I guess, he's not really known. He's not a shooter. He's a flashy guy, and he doesn't want any part of this. These old school guys trying to get one up on him. So he just is like, I have a new idea. Leave.
Yeah. Not be here.
I mean, that was my takeaway from this week's stuff is these fucking wrestling people are such just assholes.
Yes.
Just no one can do anything correctly.
No.
And it would be so easy to do. They just can't do it.
And even I know it's treated like a major revelation when they're like, what if we let the crowd dictate who we push?
That's what I was just going to say. That revelation, it was really...
Yes.
And I had this thought when I hear that of the early McMahons in the late 1800s, and I was going to say it then, that it seemed easy to be a businessman back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And that line proves it, because I don't think these were smart guys.
What? These were pioneers of industry. They're
I mean,
Americana.
Toots is literally robbing people and what have you, and as we find out later, assaulting people. And he just walks around the country just finding jobs, just like, oh, yeah, we like Toots, sure.
Jesus Christ.
Let's see.
I don't know why in my mind I'm just seeing Truman Capote and Philip Seymour Hoffman for Toots now.
I know, he's kind of a goofy-looking guy in his older years, yeah. I mean, I can do that. I can try to do that voice, but he never has any dialogue. Maybe we can act it out when we get to the hotel scene. So this doesn't do well for O'Mahoney. Let's see where we're at here. Oh, Toots is trying to build up contenders through tournaments. He's a little tournament Toots, not tournament Tony, as he's building up these tournaments to get challengers.
We're going to call it the Continental Classic.
And
round-robin style tournament. Influence from Japan.
It is, yes, an international. Look, he's got...
He's got Ishii.
What is it? He's got Daniel Vicente de Venespre, billed as a native of Mexico, even though he's born in Meridian, Idaho.
He's got Michael Oku.
Did they have any Kachan wrestlers?
I don't think so.
No Germans. Otto Bonds wasn't around yet.
He has the Utahn, Dean Denton.
Okay, there's the Utah.
Yep, Utah. What an international organization. Man Mountain Dean again.
So we've always had fat asses in wrestling.
Yes, that's pretty much. Which is like, okay, so like we're in, I don't know how long, it's been now, what, 10 years he's covered about, maybe even close to 15, and you're still seeing the same names, and it's just like, oh my goodness. When is Gus Sonnenberg going to hang it up?
That Landos was 44, and I would criticize that today when he comes back and wins the title.
Too. And it's because they're like, nobody else is drawing. We got to go back. So, after the Texas stuff, O'Mahoney stripped of his recognition as the champion.
Remember when Landos was named in a sex trafficking lawsuit? And
Yeah.
then back?
Yes.
Wait, Landos?
No, he's referencing Brock.
Oh,
The crowd lost their mind. Landos couldn't get on a plane. So, March 2nd, 1936. Remember old Dick Shikat?
Sure do.
Gotta look. Let me pull up this guy again. Hold on.
I know
Let me
he
pull up
comes
this
off
guy.
like such a fucking asshole with this story.
I gotta look up Dick here. Where we got Dick here? There's Jack Pfeffer. Yep. I know I threw a Dick Shikat in there at one point. Here, Henry Dick Lane. Yeah. Maybe not. The Deuce Six. He was early on. Wasn't he that I threw a... Yeah, there he is. Wow, this guy got his ass kicked? Crazy. By Toots. That guy got his ass kicked by Toots.
Toots has got to be a scrappy fighter.
Wild. Okay, let me really stare at this guy.
Toots was a shooter.
Dick Shikat looks like a ripped Nate Bargatze. A little bit to me. Okay. Shikat was, he's supposed to lose to O'Mahoney.
Was Shikat the first wrestler to go with the long tights?
I don't know.
He's wearing them in several photos.
Oh, yeah? I only have the picture that I sent, the little picture where he's got his arms folded. Very vascular.
I feel like Farmer Burns wore like a culotte of some sort.
But Dick Shikat did not lose to O'Mahoney that night. on March 2nd, 1936. He put old Danno in a hammerlock submission and made this Irish bastard submit. And now he is the champion. Ha-ha! Nobody wanted him. Now, why did he do it? Why did he go into business for himself? Well, 4 years earlier, feel like something that should have been brought up when it was 4 years earlier.
Yeah, your timeline structure ends.
He was in a secret partnership with Curly, Toots, and Bowser, and Ed Lewis. Remember when Londos had left the Curly organization? Yes.
Grown men with families. What are they doing?
Yes.
Dick's got this 4-year-long vengeance. Just playing it out.
Yeah. Remember, and then life is hard back then, too. So Londos, remember when he defected from the Curly group and he's like, I'm going out on my own. Well, they were like, well, we need a champion, so we're going to make you champion. And that never happened. So then they go, I don't know how this works, but they go, give us $12,000 of your money. And then we'll get you that championship match. And then that's when the Strangler Lewis dropped it to Jim Browning. So now he's been okay, fine, broken promise, but now they've taken money from him. And they're just not done anything. So now he's out $12,000. That's where what
1937?
In 1932.
All right, hang on.
Like $100,000.
All right, 1932, 12,000. 271,000.
Holy shit!
So
that is obscene.
So he's mad. He's mad. Dick Shikat is mad, and he goes to meet up.
People get murdered over that amount of money.
Well, that's okay. So they're in the Warwick Hotel. It's him, Toots Mondt, and Strangler Lewis. Okay, and he's pissed off, and they all start fighting. And this is one of my favorite sentences in this book so far. This is one sentence. This is about Shikat. He was pummeled. There you go. Strangler Lewis and Toots Mondt beat the shit out of this guy. This guy was like, you robbed me, you lie to me, I'm fucking... And then he fucking starts trying to like get a pound of flesh. And no, they just beat the shit out of him in this hotel room. What was the Toots says, Capote? I don't think so. So Shikat goes over to Londos's group, right? Which then, remember, that gets brought back into the trust. They bury the hatchet. And so then Shikat just keeps his mouth shut and just keeps doing what he's been assigned to do. Does the matches that he's assigned. He's not forgetting what the fuck happened. And, he wrestled O'Mahoney earlier. And in 35, he wrestled him. And he's like, this guy isn't even very good. So, and then in 36, he's like, I know I can beat this guy. I'm fucking still pissed off about getting the shit kicked out of me in the Warwick Hotel and robbed. And he does it. He grabs the title for himself. And you'll never believe this, but the members of the trust, Toots, Bowser, Lewis, Curly, they're like, what? They're blindsided. They can't believe this. What? The guy that we kept promising the title just went into business for himself and took the world title. What the fuck?
Why would you even book him against the champ?
Because they're like, this guy, what a piece of shit. What a doof. What a mark. We took his money and he's still just working for us. What a goof. Do you think that they maybe somebody had a wry smile and went, he got us? God damn, made a lot of shit, but he got us. Paul Bowser.
That's the prestige show we need, is the Syndicate here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe what it made it get into quote unquote fisticuffs is that when he was complaining about them robbing him of the 12,000, they're like, "What if you give us a little bit more money?"
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, you almost would be if we finally do the championship match, it'd be like doubling it. So Bowser, old Boston Bowser and O'Mahoney, they're saying, look, he just had the match against Robert. You know, he's traveling too much. He's not even. This isn't even the recognized title. You know, the commission doesn't even recognize this guy. It's not a real title match. They have all the excuses.
He's off filming pictures.
And so Bowser's just like, I have a solution. We just don't acknowledge the title change. Curly tells Eddie Wade of the New York Post, I'm just done with champions. There's just too many champions. Who cares who's champion? How about that? So that's this guy finally gets the title, and everybody goes into, what if the belts don't even matter? Hope you like that belt. Toots, though, he tries to make amends, right? And offers him a lot of money to lose to Vincent Lopez in Los Angeles. And Dick says no. And said he goes to Columbus, Ohio, where there's a little smaller group of promoters trying to make it their way in the wrestling business. You got Al Haft, and they're in Ohio. Is he an Ohio legend, Larry? Al Haft?
Never heard of him.
Detroit, Adam Weissmuller.
I do know Weissmuller.
And of course, Billy Sandow, still just roaming around. Billy Sandow. And they became known as the Little Trust. To, the Trust. And Everett Marshall.
Because Weissmuller, his brother was Tarzan in the pictures.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
30s.
yeah.
And an Olympic swimmer. So yeah, that's Weissmuller's brother.
Yeah.
There you go. So they're going to devise a plan for Marshall to beat Shikat and get going there on that. Meanwhile, Bowser is trying to sue them because they say they have the right to manage Shikat, something like that. So it's going to the courts for some stupid reason. Tim writes that some people, fans, were very fascinated by the court drama.
The smart marks.
Yes. They want to know the inner workings of pro grappling. The regular fans, the casuals, they thought this is not very fun. This isn't interesting at all.
Could have shown this to Russo in '99. And...
Yeah. This is basically we're reading you see a ratings discourse thread, and half of it is people discussing the ratings, and then the other half is going, who could care? What do we care about ratings? Well, Dave would tell you, if you don't learn the business, you're never going to learn.
If you don't learn the business, you're never going to learn.
Yeah. Always be learning. ABL.
$14.99.
I went to school, Meltzer. I paid my tuition. I've learned.
Did Frank DeFord ever call you the best sports writer in America?
No.
Okay,
if I had decided to do it, he would have. I would have crushed.
I loved
Dave
when he
Meltzer.
was like feeling himself like swagger wise, like Hogan bit. He was just like.
I have to say though, I've never considered sports writing very. I've never been somebody that's taken with the whimsy of sports writing. I could think of many sports writers that I actively dislike. I
don't think I really respect any of them.
Who was that guy that used to write about like golf and Sports Illustrated sometimes? Goofy looking guy, tall guy. What was his name? Rich something or something?
Rick Riley?
Was that his name? Rick Riley?
I feel like he was a columnist.
Oh, let me look. Yeah, let me look. Oh, yeah. Yep. I think you're right. I think this was the guy that would write about golf. Oh, he wrote a book about Trump, Commander-in-Chief.
Oh, no.
Does that book qualify?
Who's your caddy? Wasn't Mitch Abel? Mitch Abel, wasn't he a sports writer too? Abel?
I don't know.
Let's see if he was. He wrote Tuesdays with Maury.
What about Dave Barry?
He was. Sports journalist.
Rick Riley wrote a book called The Boz in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
I mean, Dan Shaughnessy. I hate that guy. Many people. So Dave Meltzer walking around with his chest puffed out going, Frank DeFord thought I was the best sport. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would even want to be grouped with such writers. What do we got here?
Frankie D.
Tim doesn't think that
Hang on, I'm imagining. Pardon the interruption, but with Meltzer on the panel as well.
They would never get through the list.
I know.
They'd be like,
not pardon the interruption. What's the one that's got all the different sports anchors?
Around the Horn.
Around the Horn.
Yes, I had. That was a show just so that I used to, watch. You go to the bar and you watch with the guy with the crew, and then, none of these guys are likable. But there's like one guy that always. What was the one guy that always pissed off my buddy? The old guy, Woody.
Yeah, Woody.
He
was a Denver guy, I think.
Woody Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he just looked annoying, so there you go. Doesn't even get a picture on his Wikipedia. He displayed the chalkboard. He was that guy with a humorous quote, such as, I'm chalkboard. Had a friendly rivalry with Jay Mariotti. Uh-oh.
Oh, man, Jay.
Oh, boy. Talking about sports writers.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're in such company with Jay Mariotti, that's...
What happened with Jay Mariotti?
Ask Ozzy.
Tim doesn't, he writes that, these guys that are now, they're suing each other. They're getting swerved by the wrestler. It's chaos. They're hurting their own business. They're fighting in front of the public. Alibaba, hello, 1936. He dethrones Shikat in Detroit. Did you know that Baba was born in Kurdistan in 1901? Well, now you do. Let's go. Let's see here. What happened in Detroit? Nothing. The court case? What's going on? The New York State Athletic Commission denied Baba's rights to the championship, citing controversy in the Detroit contest. They want the rematch in Madison Square Garden.
This is so stupid that a court.
This is where I wrote, I'm not a fan of, and I've never been a fan of, even fake, real or fake, commissions, boards. We got to take it to the board. We got to take it to the commission, particularly in pro wrestling. Just not a fan of it. Just when people in the past in the WCW or NWA, when they're like, the committee got together. No thanks. Just give me one guy, like a Tunney, a Gorilla Monsoon.
J.J. Dillon.
Sure, just one guy. Just give me the one guy. I think, and it shouldn't be Tony Khan in AEW, by the way, because, I think we finally figured out in the Discord what's unsettling about him when he talks. He yells into a microphone, which is when you have a microphone, it's just...
Thank you, I'm here with the great Martha Hart.
You don't need to do that. You just speak normally into the microphone. They can hear you. He should have a figurehead or something. And then it can just be through him. And then he can come out if he wants for the Martha Hart stuff, but let's see.
He's a boy trying his best.
Yeah.
Jack Pfeffer's back. He's trying to get to be matchmaker in the Garden, or take it away from at least Curly. He's worming his way in. He doesn't trust anybody as per usual. Remember, because he felt betrayed years and years prior. Let's see. So it's who you know, and they kind of get him. They get Curly worked out of the Garden. And Shikat was in New York to drop the rematch to Baba. He was going to lose. Gets a call for Columbus. His wife has been in a serious car accident and severely burned. And then Tim writes here, in an interesting sentence, Shikat, completely distraught, returned to Germany with his wife's body, following her death on May 14th.
God, that would suck. I guess I was like, oh, it'd suck to have to travel with your partner's body, but I'm like, I guess it's not like the corpse is in the seat next to you.
Yeah.
Put it down below, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, returned to Germany with his wife's body. At first, when I first read it, I thought he said he returned to Germany and then his wife's body followed when she died. Like they said, we'll ship it to you. Don't worry.
DHL.
He returned to Germany with his wife's body because she is dead now. Okay. Let's see. Pfeffer, a highly suspicious and distrusting man. Just be like, love to hear about this guy, but you're not giving us much of then. He's just constantly paranoid. He's like, I'm going to get double-crossed by the Little Trust that he's a part of. And instead of going to the press this time, or the commission, and going, it's all fake still, he goes to Toots, buries the hatchet with him, and they're going to double-cross the Little Trust. Let's see. So Baba's like, okay, no one's going to double-cross me. I'm friends with everybody. But then the referee disqualified him for an alleged kick to the groin against Dave Levin. And then they sold Dave Levin's contract to Toots. And Dave Levin, now he gets his little blurb. He was known as the Butcher Boy. Want to guess how he got that name? It's because he worked as a butcher for 5 years. Okay.
Alibaba's pretty terrifying looking.
Yeah. Well, he's out there. Do you think he was sad that he got double crossed by his friends? We'll never know. So the belt's moving around. It's going to 11. It's going to Dean Denton next. We get Denton is working out with 7 of the toughest wrestlers the game knows. He's doing workout sessions. Is licking his lips. He'd love to have 7 guys just wrestle him all in a row. September 28th, 1936. Denton went over 11. Okay, moving on. He brings up... now, I assumed all of this seems, from reading this book, every match seems like a complete shoot. It
I
seems
know.
like, but then he'll go, it's not, it's predetermined, it's fake. But then he'll be like, and in this match, this guy kicked this guy, and actually that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah. It seems to be a common thing with telling stories from this era. I hate it because I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Tim is supposed to be seeing through this, but it seems like he either believes it or, who knows.
Like Gotch Hackenschmidt, people think was real.
Yes.
I don't know. Real fights don't last for 45
You know what would
minutes.
clear some of this up? He said he would clear some of this up is that he said, a lot of his sourcing was letters to and from the promoters and stuff like that. Throw in a letter. Let me read one of those letters, Tim.
Yeah.
So
Can
Lewis
we take
is
a break?
back in the midst. Sure.
Okay, because we're not close to it.
We are close. We've only got a chapter left, a chapter and a half left. Oh my goodness. This is 2 long chapters. Okay. Let's see. So Tim's talking about that there was in summer of 36 there was actually one legitimate main event contest between Strangler Lewis and Lee Wyckoff. Fans don't really care for it.
God, the fans are just.
They're given nothing to watch.
He and Curly had tried to do this before in 32 with Shikat and Lewis, and at that time, the Daily Star in Long Island City asked, "Who wants to see that sort of thing?"
Sounds like me watching Collision asking why AR Fox is getting so many minutes.
So there you go. And apparently, Tim writes, apparently, quote unquote, the legitimate match happened between Lewis and Wyckoff, and it was as boring as it had been predicted. Not a lot of people saw it. Small audience. 90 minutes went by before they even went to the mat. And that was because Wyckoff fell accidentally. Whoops.
The ultimate Zabisco stall.
Yeah. And the match finally ended when they both stumbled from the ring and were counted out 2 hours and 15 minutes later.
How is the building not getting burned down?
Well, this is supposed to be and being promoted as real.
Yeah. It takes what? It usually takes 2, 3, 4 hours to take a man down, right?
Every every UFC fight, every MMA belt, whatever, yeah. If you didn't have the rounds, they would just be in there for hours on end.
Yeah. Totally different strategy without the rounds.
Were they just not allowed to choke a man in a hold? You're just holding him. Like, hold meant actually just holding him. Like, don't actually do anything.
There were those early fights, remember, that went like an hour?
Yeah, that's true. Back in the day, I think of like a Gangs of New York era, where it's like a guy who's like, 10 hours later, they're still in there. Just punching away.
No, I mean in the UFC.
Oh, in the UFC?
Remember, 4 or 5, there was like a 1 hour Gracie match where he just held a guy.
Right.
And they had to redo the rules for that.
True. Look, I'm showing my ass, Colin. I guess they just needed to put in the time limits there, and you guys are just going to roll around exchanging holds. No one's really going to actually do any. Where's the wrenching? Where's the torquing? Nobody's going to the shows. Look, They're trying different people. They're throwing out different people. No one cares.
Yeah, maybe like this Italian getting thrown out 3 hours better than the Irish.
Even the Denton and Levin match on November 18th. One writer wrote, "One of the finest bouts seen in this city in many a day." How did that end? In what was called a thriller of a finish. Levin missed a flying tackle a half hour into the battle and sailed from the ring where he was counted out.
Yeah.
There's some
Okay.
poor bastard like writing for the paper that missed the birth of his kid because like some bullshit like fight went 4 hours.
You don't understand, honey. I saw one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. And one guy missed a flying tackle, and he fell out of the ring, and he was counted out after 2 hours. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Oh, and this, my birth of my... Guess what? There's a new guy from Ireland, Steve Crusher Casey. He's an old wily vet. And he gets compared to George Hackenschmidt. His popularity's up there with Jim Londos. So they say. So they're looking at him. They're going, nobody will double cross this guy. And Paul Bowser's kind of trying to move into the slot that Curly has been kind of pushed out of. And there is, Yvon Robert, a French-born athlete. There you go, Larry. He is grabbing the AWA Association recognized title. So, let's see. Tom Pax, Billy Sandow, 36. They've got Marshall. All these guys are. See, this is more syndicates than champions, and they talked about the too many champions last time. But here we go. Everybody's got a champion, and you can kind of see why they when they try to pick one guy, he stinks. So it's better just to play it to your territory. And I think the territory thing, maybe we should go back to that. That'd be fun, right? People circulating. Nobody gets... you don't have Seth Rollins on your TV for 16 years. Think about that. Think about pretty soon here. We're going to be in like... What year is it? When did they start? 2015? Something like that? 2012?
We got, what, 5 years of Prime Austin and 16 of...
Dude, think about how many of like Seth, how many years of many guys. Sheamus. Why is Sheamus still on my TV? Go somewhere. Go to AEW. And I only say that just to spice it up, change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Would Sheamus pull the WWE card, do you think? Like the Rusevs, the Aleister Blacks?
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
I'm disappointed in that. I'm not even a Sheamus fan. So they're back to thinking, you know what? We need a single champion again. And they want it to be the Irish guy, Casey. And they don't want Marshall to lose. The Utah, right? Was that ever? Or no, that was Dean Denton. Ever Marshall's another guy. They don't want him to lose to Casey, so they need to transition the title, do that, get him off the one guy, and then get it. Okay. So, Pax wants, here he is, Lou Thez, a 21-year-old Lou Thez.
The Hungarian hooker.
And he's just a guy at this point. You know, he's popular, but he's just starting. So they give Thez a count-out victory. And he is, let's see here. So then Bowser strips Robert of his AWA belt and awards it to Thez as well, so that he can lose to Casey at the Boston Garden. So there you go, in front of 12,000 fans. That's what happens in February 11th, 1938. Now it's time for Casey to take on that Mahoney role and draw some money. Let's go. Meanwhile, Toots is working with Denton, and he wants to move the title to Bronco Nagurski of the Chicago
yeah.
Bears.
That's fucking right. Let's go. Bear down.
Trained by Tony Stetcher of Minneapolis. So he beats Denton on 37. Now he's got the Los Angeles organization's title. Out of nowhere, here we go. Oh, you better believe, by the way, that Bronco was using tackles in his matches. You got it, right? Everyone knows him as the Chicago Bear.
The spear.
Yes. That kid has somebody in the crowd yelling, "The tackle!" Our boy, Jack Curley, that we've been with for so long in this book, 85 pages, suddenly dies. You think I would have looked this up prior, but I'm looking it up now. How did he die? Can I find out how he died? Jack Curley, promoter. Death. This doesn't say suddenly. It says his health gradually declined. Then he suffered a heart attack. I guess that is sudden. Heart attack.
Yeah.
Did they have an autopsy though? So he dies. That's going to leave a big vacuum in the wrestling scene, even though he'd been slowly kind of getting out of it. He had all these connections, sports writers and wrestlers and And his son, 24-year-old Jack Jr. is coming in. And you'd think that his dad's old buddies, Toots and Fabiani, would be helping him, but no. They decided to have an alliance with Mike Jacobs. And that gets them the Monday Night Wrestling spot in the Garden. And that was given to them by the New York State Athletic Commission. And Tim Rice's father hadn't been dead a month when the commission made that controversial decision.
Now I want to know where the autopsy is.
I know. All of a sudden, these two guys are like, you know what? Let's make our move now.
Yeah.
Interesting. And we've established that Toots isn't very scrupulous. He's
he'll fuck you up.
So Curly Jr. makes a couple more attempts to run the Garden, and he draws like nobody, like 30,000 people, maybe. And this kind of also shows that in his program, he's got O'Mahoney, he's got Casey, he's got Ed Dodge Orange. Nobody gives a shit. Let's see, but there was one match that people did give a shit about. It was two gimmick wrestlers, Count von Zuppe, Count von Zupp, or Professor Pietro Marconi. They had a little 5-minute match, and people loved it. Comedy antics, right? Colorful appearances. It's starting. The New York Mutants are starting to realize what they really want in wrestling up in New York. Clowns. Here's another problem that New York's running into. So if the fans are like, we want goofballs, but you still got old William Muldoon. Remember that guy? He's in the New York State Athletic Commission, right? You got General John J. Phelan. And they're saying, we got to have real shooters here. No non-wrestlers. No dramatic performers.
Goddamn exhibition.
Yeah. Now, in other states, the commissions would be like, look, we just want to make sure you're good to wrestle, you're licensed, everything's in order. What you do on the card is your business. We don't care. We take our cut. And that'll be that. Not in New York. New York is demanding that they present straight exhibitions of wrestling. And they also want to limit the number of matches a wrestler can perform per week to 3. In the state of New York, you can wrestle 3 times in a week, and only 2 of those can be in the main event. So people
Well, that's
are
fair.
like,
I mean, if they're going 4 hours, you
The
can't.
backroom dealings that went on in the New York State Legislature to get that.
Fine, we'll give you 3 days, but only 2 of them can be main events.
I mean, what are these guys doing? What is Muldoon bored? What's happening? It says here, Jess McMahon played by the rules his entire career, and he would never invite controversy and attempt to be successful. And Eric Bischoff weeps. So, between 1935 and 1939, he is promoting boxing. He's promoting wrestling. He's working the Queensboro Stadium with the Coney Island Velodrome, the Hempstead Bowl. And on Wednesday nights, and you know what that means, the McMahon Hempstead Arena shows were mandatory viewing for area grappling fans. So he's doing well over there, doing his little circuit. In 1939 November, his compatriots, his fellow promoters, go to him and they say, Jess, you need to go and talk to the athletic commission, because Jess is known for being very persuasive, very influential. What the commission wants is to lower the minimum wage of pro wrestlers from $10 to $8 per bout. And they say,
So a 20% pay cut. Like, go fuck yourself.
we want McMahon to go there and sell this idea to the commission. And the commission agreed. They said, okay, $8 is the minimum now. Is the minimum wage. So I said, fire up the handshaking meme. McMahon's an exploding wrestler's wages forever and ever.
$183.
And the commission already said you can only wrestle 3 times in the state a week. And you're probably not getting paid the same if you're not in the main event. You're probably getting paid a little less.
Yeah.
So by the end of 1938, the New York Times, they'll write about different things. They're like, hey, guess what? Wrestling stinks. It's a minor sport. And no promotion of any size should be what we're attempted here. Okay. The next year, 39. And now it's just a past. It's once a cardinal part of the athletic programs. Nobody cares anymore. So, meanwhile, all over the United States, wrestling is doing all right. Got Luthez, got Wild Bill Longson, got Gorgeous George, French Angel.
I can't do it. I can't do another chapter.
No, I know. It's okay.
Oh, that's the end of the last one. I'm
That's
sorry.
it, yeah. No. But he's saying New York's going to miss out on all these great wrestlers here. Except in the chapter called "The Territory in Rapid Decline," he talks about how actually wrestling comes back in New York. So I'm confused. This chapter should have been, and the previous chapter should have been called too many. Anyways, look, even if I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go on. Look, we got 3 to 4 more episodes of this. That's my guess. I think it's going to really start moving when we get to.
I hope so. I mean, with guys I recognize at least, Bruno and Buddy Rogers.
Well, we got we're ending here. We're about to go into World War II. We're about to get into the early 40s.
Antonino Rocca.
Yes. And let's see, and it ends in 84. I'm telling you, considering that we're pretty much almost halfway, just a little bit. I feel like he's going to devote much less. Like it's going to start moving, especially as you get closer and closer to 84. I just don't see this book packing a lot of like guerrilla monsoon lore. So there you go. I hope all this foundation pays off. Tim, if this doesn't pay off, if I don't, you better be bringing up Little Chief for a reason. He better come back at some point in the McMahon dynasty for me to be reading about this or any of these other guys. You're not just listing off these cards for no reason. You better not be.
I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I feel kind of.
I like it. This is our first Tim Hornbaker book. But now, when I was reading this, I have the Death of the Territory. And I kind of remember when I was reading that, I was like, seems like a lot of information just kind of getting thrown at me. I was looking for more like, again.
You're right, though. You need a character that you're following.
And I thought it was going to be the McMahons there for a minute.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just an overview of the general
Curly,
New York.
I don't know anything about Curly. I really don't know anything about Toots other than he's a scumbag.
He's a scumbag. Well, Curly's dead now. You don't need to worry about him anymore. And I feel like we're going to get more of Toots, and he'll be like, yeah, remember, he's a scumbag. Well, now who's he working for?
Yeah, the Toots LA stuff is all weird.
Pfeffer kind of keeps hanging on.
When he starts working for the concession stand.
Yes, he does. Yes, he gets completely blown out business-wise, and then he just literally Tim says he walks over and just starts selling hot dogs. Okay. But then he's like, what is it? Oh, yeah. So then this is all spoilers for next week, but spoilers. But then Toots and the IRS get into it, and Toots, I guess you can just leave the state, and the IRS, the government doesn't follow you if you leave the state.
Yeah, I didn't know what that is. What he kind of implies.
Yeah, you just leave, you just move, and then the IRS is like, we lost him. He's still, by the way, you want to do some
That's
inflation
$500,000 that he owed.
Yeah, I did the inflation. What was it? 300,000 something?
It's 480.
You got 480, I got 355.
418.
So
Well,
somewhere in
was it?
there.
Yeah.
40. What year was it?
Yeah. Okay. That's what I did. 18 grand.
1942. 18 grand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we get some more McMahon stuff. There's some stuff in there. And then, boy, revitalized by television, which, by the way, you better believe in the previous chapter he talks about television revitalizing it.
The Dumont Network.
Yes. I tell you what else? I'm just going to see. I'm going to see if I'm going to spoil myself. Is there anything? I'm just going to see if I'm going to read a random page.
I hope we get Vern stories in this. Does Vern ever come to New York?
Let's see. Toots is on page 166, so there you go. This is 1960. I
was going to say, Toots sticks around for Senior.
How about this?
He's like Senior's right-hand man, I believe.
The relocation of Mondt to Pittsburgh was coordinated to placate the Department of Justice.
Oh my God.
Mushnick. Oh yeah, Mushnick comes up. Mushnick. But I always confuse him and Mushnick. Phil Mushnick and Sam Mushnick. I didn't know that. Mushnick. I didn't know he was a little weasel.
Oh yeah.
He shows up.
Sam?
Yeah.
I don't remember why.
He's gonna betray Tom Pax, destroy him. Let's see here. The Garden was jammed. So this is page 196. The Garden was jammed with 19,648 spectators on May 17th. That's the launch of the San Martino Dynasty. You know how long that match was?
Over Buddy Rogers, right? It was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, a minute.
Yep, 48 seconds.
Yeah.
Jeez, 30 years prior, they would have been fucking losing their minds.
I told him it was going to be a shoot, and it was going to be a quick one. Bruno still works that story, I believe.
Oh, no.
Until his death. But yeah, he was still working that he really beat. I don't know.
No, he's still doing this in 216. The chapter is called The Most Valuable Territory, and here's a start of a paragraph. Over in the National Wrestling Alliance, second-generation grappler Dory Funk Jr. ended the 3-year reign of World Heavyweight Champion Gene Knitsky on February 11th, 1969. I thought we were doing the rise of the McMahon Dynasty. Why are we talking about
what's going on in Jason?
I don't need to know what's going on in the wide world of wrestling.
Dave would tell you that you do, because
Yes, that's true.
what happens in Japan happens 5 years later. Terry Funk told him that.
Well, Tim's not doing that, thank the Lord. He's like, oh, and over here. All right.
Yeah,
Goodbye. It's Wilson again. That was fun. I bet it was the best episode ever. You know what you can do to help the workers out? Rate, review, all that good stuff on whatever app you're listening to. Tell us how much you love us. If you want to contact us, it's theworkersclubshow@gmail.com. We got a YouTube, The Workers Club Podcast, a Blue Sky, theworkersclub.org, and we have a Discord where the invite link is left in various places. I'm sure you can find it. That's it. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Bye.
Smile and love each other.